worst case scenario with Esav is he's killing a body. Worst case scenario, he's killing a body. But when it's Achi, when it's my brother, he's much more dangerous. Why? Because then my neshama is on the line. For the first time in 2,000 years, the Christians are pretending to be our brothers. For the first time in history, Rabotai, they're pretending to be our brothers, and the situation has never been more dangerous than today. They're investing billions of dollars, billions with a B, billions of dollars to recruit neshamot as precious as every one of yours, and more. Religious, non-religious, ignorant, scholar, they'll take all of it. They're willing to spend any amount of money for a Jew. Much more than anyone else. You don't see them go crazy on the Arabs. You don't see them go crazy on people from Ireland or from Africa or from anywhere else. Where are they going crazy? Jews. Why? That's the price. That's why just a couple of weeks ago they spent almost $2 million on a weekend advertising campaign in Bnei Brak in Yerushalayim to make all types of posters all over the most religious neighborhoods in Israel with people that look like you and me, black and white, but they're talking about who? J.C. Penney, Yimach Shemo v'Zichro. As if the Haredim, as if it's religious Jews saying that JC is real. JC is good, JC is this, JC is that. Mamash fooling people. Now how do they have the audacity to do such a thing? 2,000 years they never did it. 2,000 years they were too busy killing us. Then they pretended to have peace with us for the last 70 years. It's like a pretended peace. But now they're going full war. They've been recruiting and converting and all the weak ones for the last 70 years to assimilation and so on. But now they're going full force. They're going for the whole enchilada. They're spending millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to recruit. They started a so-called yeshiva in Brooklyn. Across the street, they opened another yeshiva. Across the street. But the other yeshiva is a little different. The people wear black and white. They have beards. They have beards, they're black and white, they have hats, and everything. They look exactly the same. It's like a mirror. What's the difference? This one is Judaism, this one's Christianity. They're looking like us, they're acting like us, they're saying things that sound like us, but it's not us. More dangerous. Why? Sometimes if you don't know the difference, you're already lost. Now, why is this happening more than ever? There's a few reasons. Number one reason is because most people don't think this is a problem. Most people don't think that Christianity is a problem to such an extent that there are a coalition of how many rabbis? 120?
It was 50.
50 and 50 rabbis. 50 rabbis that signed a coalition. Orthodox rabbis. Forget Reform and Conservative. That's a different religion. I'm talking about Orthodox rabbis that signed a coalition, joint venture, joint teachings, joint everything with who? Christians in Israel. And now it's getting much worse in America. Now you have teachers, yeshiva teachers in Monsey and in Lakewood. In Lakewood and Monsey, two of the most religious places in America, that have signed deals. They were caught. They signed deals with the Christians. One of them signed a deal with down payment, or only we know of for sure, is he got a down payment of $100,000 to translate the New Testament to Yiddish. Who speaks Yiddish? Religious Jews. Really religious Jews. Really religious Jews. The really ones. The ones that don't want anything to do with this world. So they're going after them too. And a rabbi got a deal. He signed off his Olam Haba and $100,000. I'll translate the New Testament full of lies and garbage to go kill my brothers and sisters. Yeshiva teachers in Lakewood signed deals. Signed deals. What? To go teach Christianity is okay to religious Jews outside after school programs. Now this all sound like conspiracies, right? Sounds like Yaron Reuven is the conspiracy teacher of the year. Okay, so let's go further. in a university of Jewish Studies in England. Jewish Studies. This is, in essence, a yeshiva. They decided, a Jewish yeshiva, not a Christian yeshiva. They decided to start a program. What is the program? There's many programs in yeshivot. Talmud, Shulchan Aruch, Yerushalmi, Bavli, Mesilat Yesharim, Midot, preparation for marriage maybe. There's a lot of courses in yeshivot. A lot of things you can learn. But they decided they want to shake it up a little bit. What are they going to teach? We're going to teach the Jewish Guide to Christianity. Shtabach Shemo La'ad. We are 5 minutes away from Mashiach. Why? It's not going to get any worse than this. A yeshiva has decided, a university, Excel Studies, we're going to teach the Jewish Guide to Christianity. Now, this initially, if you want to give them kaf zchut, you want to give kaf zchut, so you're going to say, oh, they're going to teach how to fight Christianity. Because the Christians have been killing us for 2,000 years. Let's fight them. Let's at least know how to deal with this, because they're trying to missionize. They're recruiting at least 1,000. At least 1,000 Jews a week are converting to Christianity. At least 1,000. This is somebody from Jews for Judaism. Jews for Judaism. Already 500,000. 500,000 Jews have converted to Christianity in recent years. Statistically, we're at 1,000 a week at this point. 1,000 a week. Some say less, some say more. Even if it's one a week, doesn't make a difference. It's a disaster. We're in a disaster. We are in 911 status. This is Mayday, Mayday. Okay? Now, you have a university, excelled. You pay $50,000, $100,000 a year to go to this moronic school that calls themselves a Jewish school. Now they're saying we're going to teach about Jesus. So we're going to say, let's give them kaf zchut. Maybe they're teaching how to fight it, how to debate it. That the New Testament is full of falsehood, that it contradicts the Torah. Yaakov Avinu came down to Egypt with 70 neshamot. The New Testament says 75, as if God forgot how to count. The Ma'arat HaMachpelah is in the wrong city in the New Testament, which you can prove because it still exists. And many, many other contradictions and problems and so on in the New Testament. 5 minutes. 5 minutes you can prove the whole New Testament is completely a piece of garbage, that the toilet paper is worth more than it. 5 minutes you need. But if you don't know anything, then you don't know what you don't know. If you didn't study this, then you don't know what you're missing. You don't know if it's real. You don't know if it's not real. So maybe you're going to teach them this. So let's see. First week, beginning, Jesus. Who is he? Okay, maybe they're going to teach him the Gemara. Maybe they're going to teach him the Masechet Gitin. How they took Jesus and they hung him and they killed him because he's a kofar and he went against the rabbis. Maybe they're going to teach him that. Maybe. Second week, early days, the rise of the church. Okay, wait a minute. This doesn't sound like it's a anti-Christianity. Third week, Middle Ages, the church triumphant. How great it is. Wow. Celebrate it. Fourth week, the Reformation to today. How it's advanced and it's like part of civilization. Fourth week, Reformation. Fifth week, what Christians believe and do. Why do I care what they believe and do? I'm a Jew. Why do I care what they believe and do? What, are you teaching me Christianity? And the sixth week, we're going to have a guest Christian scholar come and teach us and answer all of our questions. Now, if you guys remember, about 1.5 years ago, we learned together about if a Jew is allowed to learn about Christianity. And according to our Torah, we learned from the Gemara, we learned from Shulchan Aruch, we learned from the Rambam, we learned from everywhere in the Torah, that not only is a Jew not allowed to learn this, unless it's specifically for debating purposes and its vocation, but for educational purposes and things of that nature, not only is he not allowed to learn it, but if a missionary comes to speak to him, not only is he not allowed to speak to him, he's not even allowed to stand next to him within 6 feet. 6 feet, he's not allowed to stand next to him according to halakha. If they write a Sefer Torah, we have a Sefer Torah in the shul. If the Sefer Torah falls, everybody has to fast. The Gemara in Masechet Shabbat says, if the person wrote Shem Hashem, wrote the name of Hashem, and he didn't really have kavanah. He didn't have kavanah. He actually thought he was writing Yehuda. There's one letter difference. But instead of Yehuda, he actually had to write Hashem's name. And he wrote Hashem's name, but in reality, he was thinking about Yehuda. He didn't have the right kavanah. There are some that say the whole Sefer is pasul. That's not halacha, but they say that some opinions say, oh, the Sefer Torah, don't bring it to our shul. But what if a Christian writes the Sefer Torah? And he has kavanah for Hashem and all that stuff. He has kavanah. The Rambam posek le'alacha, it's mitzvah to burn it. Mitzvah from the Torah to burn it. With Shem Hashem, with everything. It's mitzvah to take it, burn it in the streets. Mitzvah. Not only it's a mitzvah. So now you're going to bring a missionary to go speak to Jewish kids. Now you would think maybe Goldberg runs this school, the same one that wanted to bring the missionary to BRS. No, it's not Goldberg, it's much worse. It's actually much worse. Why? Who is it? It's the head rabbi of England. It's the head rabbi. It's the president. Who's the president of the school? This kofel. This one. What's his name? Mervis. Mervis received the Jerusalem Prize for Education in 1990 on behalf of the Stratford Jewish schools. Now Mervis over here is the same one that backed Ephraim Mervis from London when Dweck, Shem Reshaim Yirkav, said that the best thing that's happened in recent generations was that homosexuality is now is a good thing to the world. And they put a cherem on him in Israel, the Rabbanut in Israel, and there was a big stink all over the world because of this disgusting speaker's and rabbi's speech against the Torah. This guy backed him up. Mervis backed him up. He said, no, I'll take care of it. I'll take care of it. I'll supervise Dweck's teachings. Now we see the supervisor is worse than the student. Why? Because the president of this school is now starting a program for Christianity. Now you would think maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's a mistake. But let's see. Mervis, let's see what he says. According to his Wikipedia, in his bio, on his own website and so on, Mervis served as the president of the Irish Council of Christians and Jews from 1985 to 1992. There's a history here, Abutai. He has participated in dialogue with church leaders in the UK at Windsor Castle and Lambeth Palace. In 2005, he addressed a CCJ meeting at the Synod of the Church of England. Meaning this guy has been holding hands with the church for years, for decades. And they made him the head rabbi of the UK. Atzileni na miyad achi. Azov otcha me'esav. Yad achi is much more dangerous. Much more dangerous. This is not a small rabbi of a small kehillah. This is the head rabbi. When the head rabbi of Eretz Yisrael, the Rishon LeZion, Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef, said something, he rebuked Rabbi Yitzchak Yosef publicly. Meaning he's not even listening to the head Rabbanut. He believes he's higher. Probably going to make him Pope. Mervis was the first United Synagogue rabbi to host an address by an imam, Dr. Muhammad Esam El-Din Fahin, in his synagogue. He brings the Muslims also to his synagogue. He has also led a delegation of members of his community to the Finchley Mosque. He brought them to the mosque. Baruch Hashem, wow, bring them to the mosque. You should just go to the mosque, stay there. By yourself. He initiated a joint project between his synagogue and the mosque for a Jewish-Muslim public service day. Meaning he's facilitating assimilation. Not only is he not stopping it, he's facilitating it. When Rav Basus from England from Manchester, came out with a lecture recently, speaking against them, saying this is happening, what happened? Nothing. Nothing happened. Few rabbis speak against them, what happened? Nothing. Why? Because, Rabotai, most people simply don't care. He's able to do this for the same reason why Esav is able to do what he's doing. Go to our schools, go to our communities, make marketing campaigns, because most people simply don't care. The average yeshiva in the United States, and I believe also abroad as well, that teaches secular studies, who teaches the secular studies? Christians. And at least in one school that I know of in Florida, a student of mine told me, one school in Florida, not only is the Christian teacher teaching in the yeshiva, she debates them about Christianity. Meaning, you brought the sheep to the wolf, and you closed the sheep in. It's like, hey, wolf, have fun. Let's see what happens. This sounds like fun. It's like a gladiator movie. They brought the Christian missionary into the yeshiva. Now, you could always argue, listen, we brought the Christians to the yeshiva because they know math, they know English. We don't have Jews that know math and English? We don't have Jews that know history. Only the Christians know it. And the best part is the religious Christians you brought. You brought to our schools, the religious ones. The missionaries you brought to our schools. You put the kids in danger. The little neshamot that don't know right, don't know left. You put them in danger right now. Jewish schools put the kids, meaning, this is what's happening, Abu Tay. I'm telling you, I'm trying to get your hearts to maybe wake up. This is what's happening here. If you're secular, you send your kid to public school, Hashem Yerachem. According to some of the Chachamim, it's Arik Ve'al Yavo. It's better off if you die and don't send him to public school. In today's world, it's actually coming true. Why? Because right now in the United States, we're averaging a little bit more than one shooting per week. One shooting per week. Meaning, you send your kid to public school, 50% chance he's not coming back. And if he comes back, there's a 90% chance it's a kofir gamur, and he's never going to do tshuva. Either way, then nevela zeh trefa. That's in a public school. Now, you think, okay, Baruch Hashem, I'm going to spend $500 or $1,000 a month. I'm going to send him to yeshiva. Oh, you send him to yeshiva, maybe he's going to come back a Christian. Maybe he's going to come back a Christian. Maybe he's going to come back a new version of fake Rashi, make his own halachot, make his own opinions count, like as if it means something. Meaning, where you, the schools are mamash like getting to a point where it's like, honestly, you shouldn't leave your house. Forget the neighborhood. You shouldn't leave your house. But if that wasn't bad enough, the government of Israel has a new party. A new party is running for office in Israel. Who is it? A person by the name of Avi Lifkin. Avi Lifkin, Shem Reshaim Yirkav, is a well-known lecturer who has spoken at over 1,000 churches. Not Bate Knesset, churches. It's not a misspelling. Over 1,000 churches, and announced that he's formed the first Jewish Christian party and intends to lead it to the next Knesset elections. He wants to make sure the Christians have representation in the Israeli government. It's not Jewish government, Israeli government. Because they already have 10% of the population. We want to bring more. We want to bring more Christians. So what are they doing? They're buying millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of land. There's an unlimited budget. They're buying everywhere. And like he told me today, they're getting to a point, what are they doing? They're forcing themselves there. They're buying the land, and then when a Jew wants to rent it to live, they no, it's $1 million a minute. It's $1 million a minute if you want to come here. What do you mean $1 million a week? $200 a week. Sorry, go somewhere else where they rent it for $200 a week. Here it's $1 million a minute. Christian guy comes, oh, it's free. Come. Come. It's free. Come. Why? We're building a Christian community in Israel. Shem Elechem. The Jews are letting this happen. Which Jews am I talking about? Am I talking about the Zionists? Am I talking about the secular? No. I'm not talking about the secular. I'm not talking about the Zionists. Why? They start to discover who they are. The problem is not the Zionists. Like the Neturei counter think that the Zionists are the biggest problem, but they're not the biggest problem. They're clueless. There's many of them are kofrim. Many of them are heretics and Mechalei Shabbat and so on. But they're not the big problem. They're not the big problem. Who's the big problem? The big problem, Rabotai, is the religious Jews. Why? They don't care. Simply said, they don't care. They don't care enough to do something about it.